Hi, Richard for Fitness for Freedom, and today I'm going to talk to you about TFL issues, which are very common in runners. So if we look at hip flexion, most of the time we're trying to test psoas, but if you're not using your psoas, a lot of times you're going to use that TFL. If you're a runner, that muscle is always kind of be a little bit tight, so you'll have a bigger predisposition to have issues for the TFL. So we're going to take a look at the trigger points that will help kind of loosen it up very effective. So some of the compensatory muscles that we're going to use in hip flexion is one is the rectus femoris, and the other one is the TFL muscle. So when we were doing some testing earlier, Jonathan mentioned that he was feeling sort of a cramp and he thought it was his psoas. I think it's the TFL. So we're going to find out what's going on there. So here we're going to take a look at a kind of a different movement. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to test your hip abduction, and then we're going to go into the trigger points of the TFL. So for me to test hip abduction strength, I'm going to get you to sit up with the legs straight and kind of a legs open position, straight leg. Okay. So now in this position, I'm able to, he's going to be able to use actually his TFL muscle. So now I'm going to push your legs together and I want you to resist as best you can. Ready? Okay, so pretty good strength here. So now lie down, same position, hold strong. Hold strong. Anytime you want to hold strong and hold strong, not happening. Good. So now that we've established that he's got a lot of strength in abduction, as long as he's able to use that muscle, I definitely know that that muscle is a little bit tight. So we're going to go into its trigger point and we're going to loosen it up. So for this one, it's a little bit under the ASIS, kind of the tip of the bone. Usually if you have pockets in your pants, it's usually right around there. So everyone has sort of a different angle of the pelvis, so sometimes it'll be a little bit more in the front, a little bit to the side. So just keep looking around. You'll probably know when you found it. It'll just create a little bit of wincing and pain and discomfort. And we're just gonna massage that. You can of course lean against the wall. You can use a foam roller for this. Doesn't really matter as long as you find the trigger point and you work it a little bit. Yeah. So for you it's more. There you go. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to cheat a little bit, do something else at the same time.
What are we doing here?
So here, I might as well explain this one as well. So if I go to the ASIS, like the prominent bone, and I go slightly to the inside and I press towards the bone, this is kind of a junction of a lot of different muscles. And I'm just going to rub that for a few seconds. 2, 1. Good. One last thing before we test again. Bend your knees, both of them. Sometimes if there's a little bit of a hip misalignment, just squeezing something between the knees for 10-15 seconds is just going to move things back into position. So we're just flexing the adductor muscles for a few seconds. And good. Relax. And right away we're going to go and retest and see if that's changed the strength. So leg out. So I'm just going to anchor this one. Ready? There you go. And the strength has returned. Good. So when the TFL is cramped up, it kind of assumes the role of your main abductor. So now the right side, we treated it. So we're going to make sure it's strong in a more functional kind of movement. So here I'm just going to push you and I want you to resist. So he's nice and strong. So that hip is nice and stable. Now turn around and we'll see what's going on with the other side. Ready? Try harder. Okay, and that's exactly what's going to happen when you've only done one side.
So when Richard was doing my TFL muscle, he was pushing in with the ball here, but if I'm doing this myself, I can't create enough pressure on the ball, on the muscle, to actually really do anything that's that effective. So instead what I do is, or what you can do, is roll over and place the lacrosse ball on the muscle, the TFL group, and then roll back and forth, leaving your weight on it. And then if it's too hard when you're right on the ball, then you can lift up on your feet just a little bit to control that amount of pressure. You'd only need to spend about 30 seconds to a minute doing this, and just move the ball around in the area enough that you start to feel it. It probably won't alleviate over this time. It'll just continue to feel pretty not very good. Okay, so that can be expected. And then when you're done that, you can roll over on your back to the IS joint here above your hip, so exact same way. And we're just going to press with your thumb in, and this one you can manually get just as easily as someone else would be able to. And then now we're going to retest that and see the difference that it makes.
All right, so we're just going to go right back to it. Don't give him time to prepare, and he's nice and strong. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe, and you can even press the alarm button so that you could be the first one to see the next video, and you can even write first in the comments.